Hello Namibia, welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we catch up on current events and headlines. My name is Priska Anyolo and you are watching NMH at 1. Walvis Bay, and for that matter the coast, clearly is Namibia's hotspot for COVID-19. What does become worrisome is the apparent failure by the local representatives of the Ministry of Health and Social Services at the coast to get a grip on the situation. While the cases start adding up in the Ironga region, the point man, Dr. Amir Shakir, seems to be inaccessible to the media. Meantime, garages are upgraded to isolation wards, and the equipment donated by the private sector seems to have simply disappeared in state hospitals that were previously already not properly equipped to take care of existing health hazards, never mind COVID-19. Fake news still seems to be the driver of many an evil. And so yesterday, rumors started spreading about the coast, reverting back to stage 1 of lockdown, resulting in massive purchasing and hoarding again. It clearly was just a rumor, and the public seems well advised to stop reverting back to the media outlets instead of listening to what people have supposedly heard. With 3 new cases announced this morning, Namibia now has 105 confirmed cases of COVID-19. This number will most probably further increase in the coming days now that testing is, for the first time, approaching the previously declared aim. Ironga region now has 67 cases, with an additional 24 cases confirmed in Walvis Bay over the last 3 days and 2 in Swakopmund. A total of 63 cases of the national tally are local and 42 are imported cases. And in our first video insert, Digu Naubeb of the Namibia Tourism Board was recorded when he spoke about the revival of the tourism sector, a project announced by the Namibian President Hage Geingob earlier. The idea is to establish the air bridges with Germany, intended to take a lead in this endeavor.
Following the announcement by the head of state to look at possible opportunities to allow international travel, albeit limited, we as Namibia Tourism Board has been tasked to work in consultation with the private sector on modalities that we have to propose to government as to the preferred destination from which the tourism must originate and what kind of protocols can be put in place to try and reduce or mitigate travelers originating from those destinations that might come spread COVID-19 further. So in terms of our discussions, the guiding criteria that we've been looking at is what government has put in place in terms of the decision that it has to be a direct flight, it has to be a destination with low risk infection. So that is one of the guiding criteria. But on top of that, in our consultations, we then looked at, as much as those are a minimum, we have to look at markets or source markets from which we can get tourists that will give more impact to tourism industry in general in terms of in-country monetary spend, through which tourism industry can generate income and obviously can also provide jobs. And having done our analysis over the years in terms of tourist arrivals and exit survey polls, it is quite clear that Germany, or rather German-speaking Europe, has quite contributed to the tourism industry, and therefore on that basis our discussions are to consider a proposal for bilateral agreement to be undertaken by government between Germany and Namibia, and then the next between European Union and Namibia as a next step, and then later on other markets. So I guess that's the situation, and therefore we are currently working out modalities which we have not really fine-tuned, being a challenge currently to share the details thereof until we have done further consultations with the private sector and indeed the government.
Claudia Reiter spoke to the owner of the Iron House Gym, Jean-André Rabi, who tells NMH1 about the current health measures and safety etiquette that has been introduced at his gym. He assures the public that it is safe to work out again in a very clean environment.
Hello guys, my name is Jean-André Rabi. I'm the owner of Iron House Gym. We opened back up on the 4th of June, so we're up and running again. We were closed for 2 months due to the coronavirus pandemic. No deductions were made from our members. Members are gradually coming back again. We also have a lot of South African students that's also here by Iron House Gym. They are stuck in Namibia and can't go back to the universities in South Africa. And people are slowly realizing that it's a very safe and clean environment, and it's safe to come to the gym. It's not something that you have to stay away from. It's also very good for your mental health. People have been sitting now at home for a long time, and people just need to get out and just exercise again. We have a lot of health and safety regulations in place just to make it a safe place for everyone to come in this time. If you enter the gym, the first thing we do is we take your temperature. Second thing we do is we have a system where the names and everything, the entry times is on the computer. People come in, they have to sanitize their hands. If they go to the bathrooms, the showers are not allowed, so we try and minimize the contact of people bringing in bags and people taking showers. Then when you are in the gym, you are not allowed to gym without a mask or a towel. And every single time when you are done with a piece of equipment, the team is on the floor the whole time to sanitize the equipment. Please come and support the gyms in this difficult time. It's been a very hard time for us, and we are really excited to get everyone back again and fit again and get ready for the summer.
Kenya Kamboy recently wrote about the serious capacity issues at the Rindu State's Hospital's maternity ward and the fact that government wants to improve the situation as fast as possible. Here's the reason why.
I need 2 million parliament. I look the hospital from room. How people they are suffering. It's so funny. Sorry.
Elias Maria.
What a worrisome situation indeed. Here, though, is an overview of the front pages for today. The Namibian Sun quotes the Minister of Health and Social Services, Dr. Kalumi Shangula, as well as his predecessor, Dr. Bernard Haufiku, who both put the blame for the increasing COVID-19 outbreak in the town of Walvis Bay squarely on the shoulders of the residents of that town. Both accused the public of a lack of discipline. The Allgemeine Zeitung has sad news in that doctors at the coast are so appalled by the methods and system applied by the Ministry of Health and Social Services in their fight against and control over COVID-19 that these health specialists increasingly refuse to test their patients and often choose not to encourage patients to be tested at all. The reason for that can be found in the manner in which people are locked up in health facilities which do not meet accepted standards and norms. To make matters worse, these doctors are afraid themselves of being locked up in these facilities, which has even led to some of them closing their practices for the moment. Republican is also reporting about these health facilities and lack of proper facilities, which some doctors have described as unacceptable. This especially applies when people have been tested and confirmed as being negative, yet are forced to remain in isolation, which has happened and still happens to one of the medical practitioners at the coast. The Namibian takes a closer look at the Ministry of Fisheries. The Namibian takes a closer look at the Ministry of Fisheries that is in the process of organizing an assessment of the pilchard stocks. Now that there are 3-year ban on the fishing of pilchard comes to an end at the end of the year. It is very likely that the ban could, however, be extended by another 2 years. On its page 1, New Era focuses on the debate in Parliament around relaxing the abortion laws of Namibia. Ministers, doctors, civil society, and religious leaders obviously all have very different views on this type of social issue, so the debate seems to become quite heated at times. Now moving on to our inside pages. On its inside pages, the Namibian Sun has taken up the fact that 3 Indians had been tested positive for COVID-19 after returning to Namibia in June. Media generally was very critical of the fact that these foreign citizens were allowed back into Namibia, even though the borders were supposed to have been closed. Dr. Shangula explained why expectations are allowed, but refuses to tell the public which specific exception applied in this case. The AZ reports of the continued legal battle between Telecom and CRAN, which raised huge fees against Telecom in the past. The High Court dismissed the charges as being unreasonable, but now CRAN tries to recover the fees outstanding from the time before the court made its decision known. Republican gives us an update of the illegal culling of elephants in Africa over the past year. The good news is that Namibia only lost 2 animals to poaching last year. New Era's page 3 tells its readers of the fish factory of Tunakor that was closed down entirely after one of its workers tested positive for COVID-19. Many of you may have noticed that the Namibian blood transfusion services are battling to get enough blood reserves, so they are quite busy these days trying to address the situation. Henriette Lamprecht found out more. Here's the interview with Michael Schiavelli.
With me is Michael Schiavelli from the Blood Transfusion Services of Namibia. Very welcome, Michael. Please tell me, COVID-19, did it have any effect on donors coming to the blood transfusion services to donate blood?
Okay, I think as a Namibian nation, this came as a shock. It came as something very sudden. We didn't expect this. So I think everyone is a bit scared about the virus. I mean, it's normal to be scared. But then after all studies carried out and researches, we believe that it's very safe to donate blood, as we need to save the nation with clean, sufficient blood.
And you've got measures in place to safeguard people?
We have measures put in place, ranging from corporates, schools, you can name them. So there are guidelines that we have to follow, including the social distancing, the sanitizing of hands, and all that. But then it's more clear if you come to donate blood.
Michael, are there certain types of blood that's more in demand, that you need more of at this stage?
At this stage, as we all know, the country was on a lockdown. Movements were limited. Some people were a bit skeptical whether to travel or not. But then it's clear now that you can, for instance, infect someone with blood. It's only with...
Pak, je moet eerst beginnen ook als ik verhaal steek, ne? Maar ik zal haar niet zeer maken. Ik zoek vrienden, niet vijanden, ne?
People's movements were a bit limited, as we all know, I think for 2 months. People are not allowed to roam around. So the blood stock actually dropped. And as we all know, it's winter, levels of blood are going down. People are scared to move out of their houses. But we urge all healthy donors to please come through. So it's a 20-30 minute process or procedure. Please do come through.
Michael, who's a healthy donor? You said now healthy donors will come. Who can donate blood?
For me, I regard a healthy donor as someone who doesn't have any symptoms of sicknesses. We know that the minister also gave out symptoms of this whole COVID thing.
Esse salamoante, essa cara.
Because we strictly concentrate on everyone who is healthy. If you take medication, you have to explain to us why you're actually taking the medication. Yeah, we actually use that as a short list for donors.
You must also be a healthy weight, I assume?
Yes, you have to weigh more than those are the minimum requirements to be a blood donor. You should weigh more than 50 kg, be between the ages of 16 and 65.
No pregnant women?
No pregnant ladies should come through because we want to see the newbie. You should at least have a healthy meal before you actually donate blood.
But nothing greasy?
Nothing greasy because we are all different people. Some allergic reactions happen while you're donating blood, whereby you feel nauseous.
Okay.
That's why we encourage you not to have a greasy meal. Rather have something plain, not too much also. Yes. Lead a healthy sexual lifestyle, obviously, because at the end of the day, your blood is going to be used.
Blood saves lives. Thank you, Michael. Please
you very
donate
much.
blood.
What an informative interview indeed. And with that, we have come to the end of this live broadcast of NMH at 1. My name is Priska Anyolo, and I thank you so much for listening and wish you a pleasant weekend ahead. Please be sure to keep your distance and wash your hands regularly. Last but not least, here is a short forecast of the weather, which you can expect for tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th of June, 2020. Goodbye.